Welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. I'm John Tobacco. And, a little early I had on Lisa Durden. She's a Black Lives Matter supporter. She's all big advocate of social justice and all this other stuff. Not my cup of tea, but I like to open up the forum to hear all voices. She was a great guest, and she was quite enlightening. I learned a couple things from her. But another thing you'll learn about me is I open up the show to all kinds of wackos. But my favorite is when we do mix it up and we bring on a prominent Democrat and a prominent Republican. I throw out the topics of the day and they mix it up with some thoughtful conversation. Today, we're joined by Jadan Horyn, who's a great friend of the show, conservative commentator, also contributor to Metropolitan Magazine, and David Eisenbach. I must say, David's a professor at Columbia. He ran for New York City Public Advocate, our own presidential historian, but Eisenbach usually goes up against John Burnett in these segments. And Burnett was too busy for us today because he's getting all big and everything else, so he had to drop out. So Nico brought in, the righty from the bullpen, the flamethrower, Jadan Horyn. And I think Eisenbach, he's got a feel for Burnett. So he may be off guard a little bit today with Jadan. But guys, thank you very much. Jadan, I want to ask you first because I want to hear David's response to this, but Kamala Harris seems to be leading in the vice presidential sweepstakes, and everyone's forgetting about this horrific record she had as a prosecutor of putting black men in jail. What do you make of her being the VP?
I think it's an abominable. Her record speaks for itself, and when it was convenient to incarcerate black and brown people, Kamala Harris was there to do it with zeal. And now when it's convenient to torpedo a bill that has been seriously contemplated and worked on by the only black Republican senator, she sought to torpedo that too. Frankly, I think Democrats should torpedo her career or her short career in the VP sweepstakes because she doesn't represent the future for the Democratic Party. She certainly doesn't represent anything but, complete and total surrender to whatever it takes to get ahead. And frankly, from what I hear from activists on the left, that's not what they want. And certainly I don't think that her record and her cynical about face is going to pick up any moderate votes. I really don't see what she brings other than a woman of color. And frankly, she's more than that. She's a brilliant woman. And the fact that we're reducing her to that, I think, is rather a disservice to her.
David, what do you say? I don't think she's a good pick, but what do you think?
Well, what is she a good pick? In terms of, she's not going to do any damage to the ticket, right? She's not going to lose any votes, which is the most important thing you need to consider when you're picking a VP. She's won statewide office, and she's been out on the national campaign trail. She's ready to go. So in terms of a safe pick, she is the one. She checks a lot of boxes as a woman of color, and that's what the Democrats are interested in. Jadan is absolutely right. She's got a horrible record, and certainly one that isn't going to please any progressives. But the Democratic Party never pleases progressives. They always go to the right when it comes to national picks. So what else is new there?
Well, you're talking about, her great rise to prominence and winning statewide elections, but, a lot of skeletons come out of the closet in these when you go for higher and higher office. And it's been
that's absolutely true. But she did go for the presidency, so I could see how Biden would say, you know what, she's about as vetted as it's going to get, and she's the safest pick. That's why she's going to be his pick.
It's been widely reported that she was the, as we would use the term here in New York, gumata of former Mayor Willie Brown. And, some said that she was his side piece for years, and that's why she was thrust into these positions and had the backing of the local party. Isn't that like two strikes against you? She got kind of into a privileged place in the wrong way, and then when she got there, she started putting black guys in jail.
Well, the problem for Republicans is who's going to deliver that attack? Is it going to be Donald Trump? Is it going to be Mike Pence? Is it going to be two white guys saying these really kind of problematic things? Mildly racist, definitely sexist. That's not going to go very far with those swing voters. So I think that she's a pretty safe pick, even with all the so-called skeletons.
All right. So, Jadan, let me come back to you. Trump backed some candidates for the House. They were in primaries yesterday, Kentucky, North Carolina. I saw this 24-year-old kid this morning who was the underdog winner in North Carolina, and he looked like a stud, the kid. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know who advised them not to go with the kid, but I saw the kid on Morning Joe, and to me, he looks like a rising star in the party, so I hope the president gets on the train with him. What does this say about what's happening? What do we have to look forward to in November, But?
Absolutely nothing. So first of all, all politics is local, even when you nationalize something. My former boss, Congressman Massey, look, he has a libertarian streak. He represents the northern part of Kentucky, which has a libertarian streak going all the way back to when Kentucky broke away from Virginia. He represents his district. There was no way, even taking on the president, that he would ever lose a primary. And he trounced his opponent. It means nothing in that race. The race in North Carolina, this kid is a compelling story.
Without a doubt.
He was going to go to the Naval Academy. His life was taken for him, essentially. He was dead, and he fought back. He clawed himself back to some semblance of survival and thriving. And, that's a powerful narrative. He's going to win. I pretty much guarantee that he's going to be one of the future leaders of the party should he stay on track and not have any scandals that derail him.
Let me ask you guys, why did Trump go on the opposite side of both of those two strong candidates? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, one, a 24-year-old that has no previously, elected office, whose fundraising was relatively abysmal, and all of the establishment of the party was backing someone who looked like a safe bet. Who's going to bet on a 24-year-old kid? Maybe he'd come close and then in 2 years, 4 years, run again, right? Like, that's what most party leaders, party backers think, and so they're the ones advising the president, and the president, made that decision. For Massey, it was personal. Massey came out and directly contradicted and opposed the president. And frankly, there's a price to pay for that, no matter who the president is. And we can look back to when Republicans opposed George W. Bush, they left the party and became independents. When Democrats opposed Barack Obama, they lost in primaries. When they opposed Bill Clinton, they switched to Republicans. It's a normal process. I think, personally, I'm surprised there are not more Republicans that the president has backed that have lost. Because in general, he tends to really, really, really go strongly, and that drives turnout for those that oppose the president, want to send a message. But again, those races were highly local. The media wants to make something out of them. They can.
Yeah, well, how often
of a young man whose story is incredibly powerful, and the other is an independent libertarian.
Yeah, how often do you see a Republican primary winner as one of the lead guests on Morning Joe? Like, they were dancing in the streets. And to be honest with you, I don't know if you saw the kid. I watch Morning Joe to get my juices flowing in the morning. But the kid, said, I don't know why the president didn't go with me, but the first call I got was from President Trump. He said that I ran a great race. He commended me. He welcomed me to the race. He said I have his full backing now. The kid apparently worked for Mark Meadows. He couldn't explain why Meadows didn't back him. But you would think the kid would be on there. He's on the left-wing channel, maybe throwing bombs. But he was very thankful, very gracious to the president. And I think that the kid is actually going to come into the fold as maybe one of the new stars. I think he was paralyzed from the waist down from a car accident. He's got quite the compelling story. David, I just went back while you guys were talking and found an article going back to the Kamala Harris. You said, who's gonna say this stuff? Willie Brown himself, the former mayor of San Francisco and assembly speaker in San Francisco, a letter to the San Francisco Chronicle, said that, yes, we dated. It was more than 20 years ago, but I influenced her career by appointing her to 2 state commissions when we were dating. And I certainly helped her first race for district attorney in San Francisco. So again, with all this talk of white privilege and figuring that out, it seems like she got, some black privilege from another black legislator. I don't know how that plays with the whole part.
It's one thing for Willie Brown to bring that stuff out. It's another thing for Pence and Trump to bring it out. They can bring it out. They get to do it at their own. It's dangerous. Right now, it's dangerous to bring that kind of stuff up. As a woman of color, I wish them good luck if they plan on opening up that can of worms.
All right, guys,
And I'll
we're
say
at.
this.
Go
The line
ahead,
of
close it
attack
out, Jaden.
Kamala
30
Harris is gonna be
seconds.
done. John, it's going to be done by Kamala Harris. They're going to take things that she said before and roll them into ads. Pence is too much of a gentleman. During the VP debate, he would never bring that up. He would never say, you slept your way to the top. He just wouldn't. That's not his style.
Well, the one who's loving all this talk that the Republican strategy is to try to take down Kamala Harris is Joe Biden. The more discussion that it's about Kamala Harris attacking a woman, the better for Biden.
No doubt.
By the way, just getting back to what happened last night.
No, we got it, Dave. We got to leave it there. I'm sorry. We're out of time. David Eisenbach, Jadan Horyn, two of the best of them. Thank you so much. Quick break. Back after this.